Okay, no intake on and no ignition plugs in the engine, and here I have something for the starter to put some oil pressure up in this engine. .7 kilos at a starter. Very good. Oil pressure. From here, my new adapter. I'm gonna test now that the fueling and no leaks. I have a little bit new fuel composition sensor inside, new fuel pressure sensor, and redone a couple of things in the fuel system. So check the fuel pressure. Usually in every aftermarket engine management system you can have a fuel test, so you can start a test. The thing here is that I control the fuel pumps is driven by my Motec PDM here in the dark, instead of relays and circuit breakers. And the good thing about the PDMs, if you have like a race car, you can have one PDM in the back of the car and one in the front maybe, and have the PDM controlling everything in the back, like if you have fans, fuel pumps and stuff like that. And the only thing you need to have is 2 wires, CAN bus, between the Motec box and the PDM. So now here I don't have any output from the Motec box, it's just by the CAN bus. Here it's could be a very short wire, but I save up some outputs from the ECU there. So let's test here. PDM byte 0 mask. Okay, it's on. I'm still using this year the stock fuel pressure regulators, 2 of them here, but I have connected left and right hand side this year. So I have even fuel pressure on both sides. And here is the new fuel filters. They are new for the year. And one filter there as well. No smell, it's E85 in the system. Injectors on new service, new O-rings. And nothing underneath as well. That's good. Good to see that everything is tight before I put the intake and everything on there. To bleed a clutch on a Gallardo like this one that does not have a clutch pedal, you need a computer, and then you can find the bleed port in the top of the gearbox, if we can find it. It's a normal little bleed port. There it is, and the normal 8mm key goes onto that after removing the rubber cap there. Okay, fill some additional oil in the tank, performed. Connect a transparent pipe to the bleeding screw. Yeah, supposed to be transparent. Check the oil level and repeat operation 5 times. So 5 times we're gonna open it and we're gonna check for air bubbles, just like normal bleeding. Okay. Press oak and open the bleeding screw in the gearbox. Oak. And then I open. Oil comes out. There, pump starts. I close it. Oil level here. Still pretty good. We have some complaint about the E-gear. Let's see what it is. Okay, for the E-gear here I have 3 faults, 14 faults here. That's the ILM, that's for all the lights. That's because I don't have any tail lights and yeah, stuff like that. So let's see what's about the gearbox here. We have the clutch position sensor, below minimum limit, level up switch, and the primary RPM sensor. I think that's the RPM sensor for the engine. That one is of course working, so I think I maybe just have to clear this memory fault codes and see if gearbox will work then. Right now it will not shift. Okay, erase fault code memory. The gearbox is working. Good. Let's try it. Alright, first test drive performed, and I was not happy with the clutch and gearbox. So I'm gonna remove the gearbox here. Gearbox is out of the car, and I have done some adjustments here on the clutch, my modified E-gear clutch here, and also for the E-gear, the actuators, you can see here, it's the hydraulic ones that do the work. Left and right and back and forth. Also there is some position sensors here in the back of this E-gear unit. So the gearbox is basically the same, even if it is a manual gearbox or this E-gear one. Just what connects up here. And I think the throughout bearing is different as well inside there. Put in the gearbox again and see if it's working, and this time I don't think I'm gonna put it all the back to function. I can test it here in the garage first. Alright, finally getting some body panels on the car here, finishing up. I think I'm gonna need some new rubber on these wheels. So nice to have the body panels on again. It was a long time ago. And one thing I really like about this car is the brakes. They are Brembo brakes, carbon ceramic, and 380 millimeters front and back. So these are very huge, and I like the look of these. It's good that the first owner that bought this car picked this option to have these brakes. All Gallardos have these carbon ceramic brakes. The normal ones are the steel. These steel brakes. And still some need to clean up on this rear bumper, the tire marks. And the old Grumpy kit has been here a couple of years, maybe it will go away. Trunk here and carbon fiber wing, the Superleggera, not Superleggera. So thank you for the comment. Someone from Italy learned me that it's not Superleggera, it's Superleggera. Very dusty from all the garage dust. But coming together, hopefully soon, we'll hit some boost on the road. I'm doing some running in, testing everything, gearbox, clutch, and I'm doing some running the engine, new built engine, so we'll see. I have now made some braking with the car, with the new engine here. I put some miles on the car, driving it no high RPM and no high load, of course. And one mistake I made when I built this intercooler system from the beginning is the intercooler here is the brackets to hold this one. I made some with some rubber mounts and installed them to the frame here. And the frame is attached to the chassis of the car and not to the engine, because the engine is engine mounts. And the engine is actually moving more than I thought. Between the engine and the intercooler I had silicone hoses. These ones, so I thought the flex was good enough. The mounts have they break. I must install the intercooler together with the, I think down here with the gearbox or engine, something like that. So I will have to do some brackets for that. And at the same time I will also put these hydroflow clamps in there, replace these silicone hoses even if they are good. So I need to weld on this one, and now I have this wrinkle finish paint on here, so I have to strip this one.
tired of waiting, gonna make that move. All the neon signs, now they shout to me and you to write our story on the shape that I knew. Do you wanna come along with me? Come along with me. Do you wanna?
Before the intercooler goes in, I can show you a little bit about my turbo system here. Because the turbo system in this car, I believe, is a little bit different, not like any other system I have seen for these cars in the world. The turbos here, they are mounted pretty high and pretty much forward. They are precision 6667s. These are non-ball bearing turbos. They are journal bearing turbos, a little bit rusty now from time. That's not nice, maybe I can do something about that. And I have always been running journal bearing turbos. I think this thing with the ball bearing turbos, it's nice on a race, really race car, but for these kind of cars, it costs more than the benefits actually. And it can be very costly if you need to repair them. On my Supra, my 1400 horsepower Supra, I used a Garrett turbo journal bearing for many years and it was all fine. So yeah, I keep with the cheaper turbos, and these are pretty big actually for the power output I'm taking out of it now, but hopefully someday they will be maxed out, these little boys here as well. And the intake for them, they are almost in the original air filter place. The original air filter box is here in the middle. But there is a pipe that goes out here that takes the air from here. So the air filter is here, one on each side, and it's fed here through this. You can see the intake is on here, and it's not that big really. So my plan is maybe to do something like maybe like the Murcielago that have something like this. It will raise up. So you get more air, or make something like the Huracan, a bigger one. If it's possible to do something that still looks nice on this car with a bigger intake there. And one more thing is that in this area also I have my radiators for the intercooler system. So the air goes in. Should maybe get. Here's the radiator, you can see a little bit of it. You can also see the wastegate with a wastegate position sensor, so I can have 100% control about the wastegate position. So the heat exchangers for my water intercooler, the water intercooler that's supposed to be in the middle here, it's on the bench, newly painted there and re-welded some parts. The air goes in from the front. It can come some air from the top here as well, and the exit is here. So it got a pretty big exit here from the radiator, so I think it's a pretty good position. Some other Gallardos, they have the radiator in front or in the back somewhere here. Could be a good locations as well, but I want to keep all the turbo system here in the back, so I can have the trunk in the front free for luggage. And here we have it on the right hand side. It's a little bit on the side here because the actuator for opening the fuel flap is here, so I actually moved this a little bit, this actuator. And speaking about the intercooler, yeah, the other radiator is on this side. And the intercooler system, it also has this intercooler tank. As you can see here in the bottom, it is the suction pipe goes here, and I made a little box there with holes, so it is possible. That's why it's a pretty big cap here as well. If I want to do drag racing or something, take as much as power I can fill this with ice, so I will have ice water going through the intercooler and be very high density cool air going into the engine. So, and the water pump is over here, EMP. I bought it from USA some years ago from a company. They put these in school buses, the yellow school buses, and also in tanks to transfer heating water to heating the cabin in tanks and school buses. It is a CAN-based unit, so it has a controller board there as well. So I have connected the CAN system to my car, but right now I have not had time to check that out. I'm only running it in full power. And also the thing here, this bracket on here, I welded, and if you see these bolts, they are actually Toyota Supra bolts. I had a Toyota Supra, I cut in half, 2 pieces. Check the link in below here when you can see when I cut it in half. And that one, I removed all the screws and all the parts, stuff like that. So interior screws, they're still very nice and I like them, so I had a full box of them. So yeah, that's recycled Supra parts here on my Lamborghini. This brace that goes keeping the car together on the sides. This one is originally it was aluminum like this. First years I painted this one in normal black spray can, something like that, and it got scratches. So now I sent this out for powder coat. So now it's powder coated, and this one is also modified. The turbos could never sit here in our original Gallardo. I have cut them in here, so I took out some material that I don't think needs to be there. Hard to see, but it's cut there. And also where you maybe can see that, very good here with my phone. Here maybe you can see that it is some clearance made here for the intake pipe, so I could have a bigger intake pipe there. So this one is a little bit modified as well. And some of you say that I destroyed this Superleggera Lamborghini car, modifying it. Yes, I believe I do, but I try to keep everything about the original car. I don't cut in the frame or something like that. Everything can be replaced or bolted back on. So some of the parts, this one I don't have a new one, but some parts I have modified. The Lamborghini parts I already have new ones. So if I want to, and of course I saved all the original parts I removed, so this one should be able to put back to the stock Gallardo Superleggera once again, if I want. But my dream has always been a sports car, and for many years a Superleggera Lamborghini with turbos, not the stock one, even if that's a great car as well, but I want to have a modified and turbo car. Yeah, and the big reason why I have this car apart now is that the intercooler that sits over there, now the intercooler is installed on the engine as well. So now it will move together with the more like the turbo system and together with the engine. So it's a lot of development to make everything working. That's the fun part. But right now it's summer here in Sweden. Not raining, it's green outside and very hot, so yeah, I want to take this baby out on the road again, even if I have been driving it a little bit here now, but not with any higher boost. And one more thing here, the exhaust on this one is like, I don't think any other Gallardo with turbo. The exhaust system is still here's a big muffler, one more muffler. These mufflers are the stock on the Superleggera, not the original Gallardo, but the Superleggera had another exhaust. The turbos, when it comes from the turbos here, it goes into the stock exhaust. And one thing the stock exhaust it has one passage that goes through these mufflers, and it also have a one straight pipe. Here maybe you can see some of it. Here's also the wastegate, and there's you can see actuator. Yeah, and here you can see a good view of the radiator for the water intercooler. A solenoid that I have installed to a button. So I have a button in the car, which I can choose if this car should be straight pipe or goes through the muffler. And that is a very good thing, and if you want to be more discreet, it will not be as loud. Also, in the tracks in Sweden, we have very strict laws about the sound, so maybe I can use it there. I have not seen any Turbo Gallardos that have mufflers like this, that it can be pretty quiet, and at the same time, just with a click of a button, be louder, and the turbines can roar into the air. Not that very sexy, but okay, they're racing. Oh, I'm out here. Nice Swedish night here, doing some tuning for the turbos here. So I'm still taking it easy. Very dark here now, but checking for leaks. Okay, I know that some of you want that I should do more videos, and I also want to do more videos about my car and stuff like that. But the biggest problem I have is that I don't have the time really, and a lot of time goes into editing videos. So I actually brought here my big computer here to Germany. I was in Germany for Formula 1, so I can do some editing. Hopefully I can finish this edit and put this out pretty soon. Now crossing over the bridge from Denmark to Sweden.